Hi everyone, it's Paik here. Today I'm bringing you a full weapon guide for Werewindsmith, focused entirely on the tank style, which uses two specific weapons, the Stormbreaker Spear and the Thundercry Blade. Before we jump into the guide, just a couple of quick notes. First, I've been playing both the English beta and the Chinese version of the game, so some names may not be 100% official yet. I had to translate a few of them myself, so sorry if some of the terms sound a bit different, but don't worry, you'll understand everything perfectly. Second, in Werewindsmith there are currently 16 weapons in the Chinese version and 8 combat styles. Each combat style is designed around two specific weapons that synergize together. The tank style, which we'll cover today, combines the Stormbreaker Spear and the Thundercry Blade. Now, you can technically mix any two weapons you want, but I highly recommend playing with the pairs that the game intends, because they're designed to complement each other extremely well. This tanking style, also known as the Stonesplit Might, is all about absorbing massive damage while still hitting really hard. Don't think for a second that being a tank means you won't deal damage. This style can destroy enemies once you get your combos going. It's a very combo heavy style. You'll be able to put up shields, mitigate incoming damage, resist interruptions, taunt enemies so they focus on you, pull groups together and unleash huge charge attacks with powerful area of effect damage. It's not about dodging or perfect parries. You take the hits, absorb the blows and counterattack with devastating charge attacks. Let's start breaking this down and see how this style works. Let's start talking about its core mechanic, the combat wheel. Both the Stormbreaker Spear and the Thundercry Blade share the same resource, named Combat Wheel. If you look at the bottom right of your screen, right above your weapon icon, you'll see a few small shields. Those are your combat wheel points. These points are consumed when using certain skills. Most weapons in the game consume stamina to perform abilities, but these two don't. Instead, they use combat wheel. Some abilities consume combat wheel, but other abilities can restore combat wheel, so the playstyle is all about rotating between consuming and regenerating it. You'll alternate between skills that spend your shields and skills that give them back, keeping your combat wheel healthy at all times. If you ever run out, don't panic, they regenerate slowly over time, but the fastest way to refill them is by blocking enemy attacks. When you block, those shields refill extremely fast, so after just a few blocks you'll be ready to perform your strongest combos again. Just keep in mind, only regular blocks regenerate combat wheel, perfect dodges and parries do not. Blocking will still let some damage through, but since it's a tank style, that's totally fine, you're built to take it. Okay, let's start explaining the Stormbreaker Spear. It has a light combo of 4 hits and a heavy combo of 3 hits. The heavy combo hits harder, but it's a bit slower. Honestly, you won't be using this too much. The real power comes from your charge attack and your skills. When you hold your heavy attack, you'll start a charge heavy attack. You'll strike multiple times and during the entire animation, you are completely uninterruptible. When the final hit lands, even if it misses, you'll gain a push effect for 6 seconds. Push is a buff that increases your charge attack damage by 15%, so if you do another charge attack after the first one it will be more powerful, for example, and this effect is key for the tank role, you'll see later when we speak about the Thundercry Blade. Next is your heavy skill, which you use by pressing the skill button and heavy attack. This consumes 2 combat wheels, so beware of your combat wheel usage. It will knock enemies down and apply them with vulnerability for 16 seconds. Vulnerability makes enemies take 8% more damage, but if you're using either the Stormbreaker Spear or the Thundercry Blade, that bonus doubles. You'll deal 16% more damage instead. And by the way, if you use this skill against a boss, you'll actually restore those 2 combat wheel points, so it's basically free to use against them. You also gain super armor during the entire animation, making it almost impossible to interrupt. Then we have the light skill, which you trigger with skill plus light attack. This performs a short AoE attack that knocks enemies back, grants super armor and taunts them so they start attacking you. It also restores 2 combat wheel, so it's perfect to use after the heavy skill that consumes 2 combat wheel, that way you restore them easily. It also applies Weaken for 8 seconds, which makes enemies deal 20% less damage, and on top of that you gain 20% damage reduction for yourself, or 40% if you hit a boss or multiple enemies at once. Finally, this skill also gives you the push effect for 6 seconds, so your next charge attack will deal even more damage. You can use this skill follow up by a charge attack, that way it will be stronger. If you put all of this together, the Stormbreaker Spear lets you stay uninterruptible while constantly controlling enemies, reducing their damage, giving you damage absorption, making them take more damage from you and boosting your own charge attacks. It's an extremely tanky and stable weapon with incredible synergy. Now let's talk about the Thundercry Blade. It has a light combo of 3 horizontal attacks and a heavy combo of 3 vertical strikes. Horizontal attacks are more thought to hit many enemies at the same time, while heavy attacks hit a bit harder. Anyways, we won't be using these attacks because the real strength comes from our charge attacks. Both light and heavy attacks can be charged up to 3 levels. If you release the button at level 3, you'll deal massive damage and consume 1 combat wheel. At the same time, if we release a charge level 3, you can follow up with another strong strike, consuming 1 more combat wheel. Charged light attacks are more horizontal and great for hitting groups, while charged heavy attacks deal more damage, are more vertical and ideal for single targets. By the way, if your first charge hit breaks the posture of the enemy, make them enter in this vulnerability state, you can keep pressing heavy attack to repeat the finishing blow multiple times, each one consuming 1 combat wheel, and later you can execute the enemy to deal massive damage. The heavy skill on the Thundercry blade is another strong tool. It costs 2 combat wheel, pulls enemies towards you, and then slams them with a horizontal attack. You gain super armor during the whole move and receive focus, which makes your next charge attack charge 50% faster. That way you can use the heavy skill followed by a charge attack immediately. The light skill creates a shield worth 25% of your HP for 8 seconds and restores 2 combat wheel, so it's perfect to use after the heavy skill that consumes 2 combat wheel. Here's where the synergy with the spear comes in. If you activate this skill while you still have the push effect from the spear, it transforms push into formation breaker. If you remember, we can gain push with a Stormbreaker spear by using the charge attack or the light skill. If after we swap to the Thundercry blade, you will see a timer on our light skill, which means that we have the push effect, and if we activate this skill, it will transform into formation breaker. Formation Breaker lasts for 12 seconds, increasing your charge attack damage by 30%, which is massive, and making your charge attacks cost no stamina. So the best combo is to gain push with your spear, switch to your blade, use the light skill, and that push will turn into Formation Breaker, letting you unleash devastating charge attacks non-stop. Now let's put all of this together into one full combo rotation using all the skills of the kit so you can better understand the synergies. Start with the Stormbreaker Spear and use your heavy skill. This will consume 2 combat wheel, knock the enemy down and apply vulnerability so they take more damage for 16 seconds. Follow up with your light skill to restore those 2 points of combat wheel, taunt enemies, apply weaken and gain damage reduction, making yourself almost unkillable. You'll also gain push for 6 seconds, buffing your charge attacks, so immediately follow up with your charge heavy attack for a big boost in damage. After that, switch to the Thundercry blade and use the heavy skill. This will consume 2 combat wheel, but will pull enemies and gain focus, which will make your next charge attack much faster. Then use your light skill, which will restore the 2 combat wheel you just consumed, and you will gain your 25 HP shield. Since you still have push active from the spear, this light skill will transform it into Formation Breaker, giving you a massive 30% charge attack boost and no stamina cost for 12 seconds. Now unleash a charge attack, light or heavy, depending on if you have one enemy or more. It will charge 50% faster thanks to focus and deal huge boosted damage thanks to Formation Breaker. If you still have combat wheel left, repeat it 2 or 3 times to completely melt your enemies. Once that's done, you can switch back to your spear, reset your buff and start the combo again. As you can see, this setup keeps you constantly protected with shields, reduces incoming damage, boosts your attack power and makes you completely uninterruptible. If you manage your combat wheel properly, spending it with heavy skills and recovering it with light ones, you'll always stay in control no matter how many enemies you face. And that's it for the tank style guide in Whirlwind's Meat. Hopefully this helped you understand how the Stormbreaker Spear and Thundercry Blade work together and how they use them effectively. Stay tuned for more Whirlwind's Meat weapon guides coming soon. Thanks so much for watching, take care and I'll see you in the next one.